Architects, pull up your Eames chair, put on those black spectacles, and pour yourself a piping hot cup of strong black coffee. Okay, maybe add a splash of oat milk, because we're about to delve into unfiltered conversations about the architecture industry with architects from all around the world. We're going to talk about increasing your salaries. We're going to talk about reducing your hours, and we're going to talk about creating health and happiness within the industry. So if you're an architect that's searching for more balance, a higher salary, a healthier relationship with your career, or maybe you're just trying to find a love for architecture again, turn up your AirPods just a notch, because I've got the answers. I'm your host, Morgan Chihuaga, your future career coach and founder of The Healthy Architect. And I teach architects how to stress less and make more, a lot more. Grab your trace papers and let's dive in. Javier Fuentes, welcome to the Healthy Architect podcast. I'm so glad that you are here. This is your very first podcast.
It is. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
For all of my listeners out there, Javier is an architecture firm owner that has been in business around 5 years. He has been my client, can you believe this, Javier, for 3 months only 3 months.
It's incredible.
And just yesterday, we were on a coaching call and he'd committed to another year of coaching
Yep.
because he's doing so well. And I would just want to share a few wins that we have had, that he has had in his business since hiring me. You ready for these?
Yeah.
I think sometimes we move through these wins so quickly that we don't even really understand the extent of them. So since you've been with me, you've increased your rate by 50%.
Wow.
50% since hiring me. And I did a little math, and I'm just going to throw this math out there, okay?
Hmm.
Let's say that you bill 30 hours a week. You have 2 1099 contractors, which I know you have, and let's say they work around 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
That's 70 hours billed a week. Let's just
Hmm.
say, do a little mathy math, that you guys are working 40 weeks a year times that additional amount that you increase your rate by working with me. The math that I just did, an additional $196,000 in your business.
Wow. It's incredible. I mean, like taking that taking that in is wild. Oh my gosh.
Those are rough numbers, but that's what I believe that we're gonna get close to a year from now.
It's amazing. Yeah.
And above that, you'd not only increase your rate and by 50%, and we're continuing to increase it, by the way, as you know, but you continue to sign new clients at this higher rate
Yes, I am. It's going really well.
over and over again, right?
Hmm.
And we track above and beyond that, we track your revenue and we're starting to track your profit margins. And you created a goal that every month that you hit above a 20% profit margin, you're going to give yourself a choice to buy a fancy suit. And you said yesterday on our coaching call, you said, I looked back and I was like, Morgan, I could buy so many suits.
Yeah, I do. I owe myself a couple suits already.
And above and beyond that, you're running again. You are hitting 5,000 steps a day. You're taking your wife on dates. What did I miss? What did I miss the last 3 months of coaching together?
I think just on the back end of like how in our conversations, you and I have gone through so many different scenarios with different clients types. And I think part of this success too is just being able to get your input through it. So it's like, not only am I increasing it, but you're also kind of helping me work that in and work out scenarios in like where I might get pushback or a client might do this. So I think that's been really, really great. But yeah, overall, I mean, you kind of hit everything that's just really going on right now is really great.
Let's talk about the money part a little bit. What's your biggest like aha moment so far from increasing your rate and continuing to sign aligned clients?
One of my biggest surprises was that there were clients that were just like, "Yeah, let's do it." It wasn't a pushback. I remember telling you that there was a moment where I was about to send a proposal out, and I got a little worried that it was too much. So I closed my eyes and I hit send, and I was like, maybe I'm not going to get this one. And then all of a sudden, hey, Javi, we loved it. Like, we're going to sign with you, just letting you know. I'm like, this is great. I think a lot of it goes in our head where we start to really kind of go through this battle of like, we're not good enough. What we're thinking of is crazy. And honestly, you've helped me a lot in just sort of canceling the noise in my head to just get it done and do it. So
Yeah, and what do you think it kind of changed about, if in any way it changed about your money mindset? Do you think it's challenging your money mindset at all?
it is. In fact, like it's helped me realize too that I think when I first got started in with you prior, like I was working on my own, like full time. I was maybe like killing 60, 70 hours a week, working nights, all solo for that time. And I didn't realize like I had the capital to be able to move that money, put it towards hiring somebody who can help me so I can free up some of that space and at the same time still be able to pay myself even more than I was originally being paid, which was great. It made me realize I was like, I have the potential. It's right there in front of me, and the numbers says it all. I mean, like we talked about, our profit percentages being over 20%. I didn't realize that. I didn't see that. I just all I did was like I told you before, it was I was logging on to FreshBooks and I would be looking at it and I could see the graph going up this way. And I'm like, as long as it's going that way, okay, I'm good. But anytime that I would see this little dip, I'm like, something's wrong. I don't know what. And that's because I wasn't checking. I wasn't reviewing it.
Yeah, and you actually told me recently, you said, "Morgan, like, my 1099 contractors are doing all the drafting, like, they're doing it all."
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you completely I haven't asked you this, we did set a date for you to completely get out of drafting. Are you completely out?
So we set a date for July 1st, which is just around the corner, and I'm very close to that. There's very little much that I'm touching. Like in most of the drawings, everything is being taken care of by my 1099 contractor. So it's like I see really there's no need for me to be like on the computer other than like I'm answering an email, I'm writing up a letter, or I'm just like grabbing what my employees sent and just making sure I redline. So that's really the only kind of thing where I'm touching drawings, but I'm really kind of I've pulled back a lot. I want to say about 95%. And maybe I'll be there by July.
Are you shocked?
I am. I am. We were talking about this in one of our coaching calls where I was like, Morgan, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. What do I do? Because I'm such a hard worker. I love to be working and doing something. So, when you have somebody who's in your team helping you produce things, which is really great. Because I mean, if something happens to me, if I'm on vacation or whatever, like still business is moving, it's growing and I was just like I was sitting here trying to figure out what am I supposed to do here. So, but it's been good because now it's kind of this transition of like I'm in a managerial role. I'm in a more, stepping my way up to a CEO kind of thing.
How does that feel? Because I think a lot of architects are scared of that, like, they're scared of, managing people. I think they're scared of not being in the drafting. Like, how does it make you feel taking that just recently you've taken that step?
Yeah. So my history, right? Like I started off working, of course, like in firms like everybody else, as a junior architect, and doing, that kind of work. And I was working towards getting my license. So I went from working as a junior architect, but then I never got a point where I got to be a PM, a project manager. So I went into this transition of like being business owner and running an architecture firm and drafting all in one. So it was extremely overwhelming, but then taking that next step of like, okay, I got to be like CEO and like now push this off into someone who can handle the drawings. It felt like I was kind of ripping a piece of me because I was doing everything already And also, like, it was kinda scary, like, thinking about, "Oh, I need to direct this other person, like, what they need to do." When I'm like, "I know what needs to be done, I can just do it." But at the same time, it's like, you can't spread yourself out so thin anymore. Like, there comes to a point where you have to realize you need help. You need to have someone who can produce while you take care of other things. Because I mean, I go through it all the time, and I'm sure every other architect can say the same, is like when you're running a business, you have clients calling you, prospects calling you, you have emails coming in that you have to respond to, you have drawings that you're putting together, you have job sites that you have to go visit because the construction is happening. At some point, you can't do it all.
Yeah, and you shouldn't do it all,
Mm.
right?
No.
Hey, business owning architect, do you want to make more money in less time while living a massive AF life? You do. Trust me. Go ahead and jump into the foundation, my main offer where everything lives, where business owning architects all around the world are creating massive financial leaps in their businesses while creating massive lives outside of the office. I'll place the link below and I will see you there. Okay, back to the money making episode. Let's go. So tell me a little bit more about the goal setting that we've completed during the last 3 months. So the revenue goals, the profit goals, just like tracking those things. We even have goals for you of what your daily steps are
Yes.
and how many dates you take your wife on. Like tell me a little bit about tracking those and how that has changed your perspective on things.
So yeah, it's great because I mean, in a lot of our talks, it kind of like goes into business, but it also transcends that because we talk about health. So it's been really cool because of some of the trackings that we've been doing are, profit, revenues, expenses, trying to figure out in terms of like KPI tracking what all of those pieces are to then figure out where our profits are so that we can figure out, do we have enough to put something else somewhere else, or do we need to kind of scale back a little bit and figure out what we need to do. But overall, since I've started with you, like, it's increased over time, and I didn't realize it because it was just as we were talking about it, you're like, okay, so now you haven't gotten any pushback, right? Let's go and push that up again. And I'm like kind of scared about it, like, oh, I don't know if I should do it, but at the same time you're like, you can do it because I see it, like, it's coming in for you, and it's moved that way. So that's the kind of tracking that we've been doing, like seeing that growth. Also, like you mentioned, the 5,000 steps, we started off with 2,000 steps because I wasn't active out there. I wasn't doing any, workouts or anything like that. So I started by like, okay, I want to put a goal of 2,000. I ended up breaking that. I was like 4,000 average, and now I'm averaging 5. And a lot of that is I'm going more to the gym. The other day I went out running out in the street. Like, I used to run like 2 miles a day, and so it feels really good to kind of like get myself back into those steps because, it's growing me as a person beyond that. And then I'm actively trying to take other steps into, like, with even like in the relationship with my wife, like, we were talking just the other day about like setting up a hotel night stay. And sometimes, like, randomly we bought a ticket to a show and I'm like, we're going there, like, so I'm making these efforts beyond, and it feels really good. It feels really nice. And then another thing too that we talked about was even like taking my wife out on dates, because we used to, in the mornings, we used to go eat together breakfast in the mornings, so that was really nice. But then it stopped because a lot of life changes with my kids and all. So we started talking about going to lunch dates on Thursdays, which is her long day at work. So, we're making our efforts on that as well. So it's an effort in everything, in the business, in health, in relationship. So it's a growth overall of everything.
Yeah, and it's really what you focus on, right?
Yeah.
It depends on what you focus on and what your goals are. But would you say that you are now more in line and on a trajectory to be the man and the human and the business owner and the husband, the father that you desire to be?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because I mean, like, from having doing it all to now having people who are assisting me, helping me through the process, putting together drawings, producing, I've been able to step away from the office more than normal and like do things like we did a really special event for my daughter for her because she's going from fifth to sixth grade, and in the elementary school there's a tradition, we have a party for them, so we had that all set up and put together, and I was able to dedicate that time there with no problem. I mean, I got a phone call from my 1099, but I'm like, hey, like, okay, cool, like, you got it right, no problem, and I was back onto what I was doing. So it was really really neat, just having that separation where I can be dad, I can be husband, and be able to dedicate time to them while still letting the business grow.
Yeah. I talk a lot about money on my social media and the things that I do, but it's not really about the money. That's the what you just described is what it's about for me, right? Continually living your life and realizing that you have a life outside your business and living a big life, whatever big means to you, outside of your business while your business continues to make money. So not everything is at a halt when you're there at that graduation from 5th grade to 6th grade, right? Like, money doesn't stop flowing in. People are still working, money's still coming, but you're allowing yourself to live this big, beautiful life that you're creating for yourself. And that's really what I love about what I do is I get to see this firsthand. Like, I get to see you create those things for yourself. And it does, money is involved in it.
Yeah, yeah, certainly a part of it, but it's not everything. Like you said, it's being able to realize that it feels really, really good.
Good. I love that. Is business coaching or is this coaching different than you thought it would be?
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of funny. I really had no understanding. Like I sort of understood in a general sense, but like I remember having that conversation with my mother who works in real estate, and she's like, "Oh yeah, business coaches are the best. Like you have to talk to them, and you have to like they are going to push you. They are going to give you so much information, Like I didn't know what a KPI was or tracking or I had no idea like, really what I was doing was like I said, like, I was looking at that graph on my on my on my FreshBooks, and I'm like, "We're good. Everything is up." So, that's all good. But you've helped me kinda break it apart, and I like the way that you've described it, and this is what I wasn't really expecting, is changing my outlook on the way I was looking at my business, is what really kind of, like, I had to take a step back. I was like, "Oh." Like, you were really explaining it to me in such a great way when we first talked that I was like, "Oh, she's my coach." Like, I see that because you were explaining, like, you're like, you have to run your business and look at your business like you're looking at stats of a basketball player, football player, whatever, like, what are they good at? What are they not good at? What needs work, right? And it just helped me understand a little bit better, and I remember when I first filled out that one sheet that you had sent me, and I looked at it and came to realize that my consultation fee, site fee, which is really not much, I charge for any new prospect client that I'm going to meet. Some of them may come my client. That became 3.5% of my revenue in the business. And I had no idea. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. It adds up. So at the end of the year, I'm like, wow, like that right there just paid off the taxes of my house. Like that's how great that did. But without realizing that, I feel like having you there, I didn't know I had to look that way.
Yeah, I love this. I just got chill bumps because I love talking about data and how to use data. And I think a lot of architects just don't see it. But what I love what you just did, and I do this all the time in my head too. I think about the ROI, like, and I think about the data. I love how you said that it's 3% of your revenue was your consult call and that paid off your taxes for your house. Like, it's always like trading money. Like, what would happen if I increased this? What could I do with that additional money? Could I compound it somehow? Right? Like, just doing that math and looking at that data and seeing where you could move money and compound money and you use money to give you a better ROI, that's the interesting part to me. And I think that a lot of architects and a lot of business owners aren't pausing to see the data to see what their next step should be.
Agreed.
And remember the first annual biz report that I had you fill out?
Yes.
You were shocked on how much revenue you made the previous year.
Yeah.
You were like, "I had no idea I made that much revenue."
I had no idea. I looked at it and it was what I came to realize, and this was something that I had said early on. I said, okay, starting 2025, I need to change my prices. I need to make, more. So I need to change things up because I bought a new house in 2023 and I was drowning a little bit. Not terrible, but I was like, okay, I'm a little tight. So I need to start thinking big picture. What do I need to do? So I started upping my price, and not only was I still getting jobs, actually, I was getting less jobs, but more revenue, and I made more. So, like, that year I had normally I've been hitting like 75 projects. 2025, I hit only 51, but I made more. And the business still did well. And then when we looked at the tracking, and I saw that I broke the mold. I was plateauing and I went up. And I was like, "No way." I hit a number I had never seen before.
Yeah,
So that felt really good.
and you didn't even know you hit it. Like, how much longer would you have lived with continuously not knowing you hit that number, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And here's the crazy thing, Javier, is you hit that number. I cannot wait. I am, like, tingling over here because I wanna see your number at the end of this year. We're gonna project that out is what we need to do, but I can't wait to see the actuals at the end of this year because I think your mind is gonna be a bit blown.
I think so too.
Because we've hired 2 people,
Yeah.
we're billing more, we increased our billing rate by 50%, actually, I think it's more than 50%, right?
Mhm.
We're tracking our profit margins,
Yep.
like, the sky's the limit right now.
It really is. It's going up.
It's going up. So what do you think you would tell yourself in the future? What do you see Let me ask this question. What do you see your business looking like in the future? 6 months from now. I'm not talking about 5 months from now, I'm talking about 6 months from now.
6 months from now, 3 employees, I'm no longer producing. I'm only the face. I'm speaking to clients. I'm getting things done, but I'm not touching anything like drawing wise. That's what I see myself in 6 months, which is really crazy to even think, cuz I think part of what makes it so difficult to kind of realize is like you're so used to doing it, and then also like like I've said it before, it's like it's kind of hard to pull back from the drawing table,
Mhm.
but you have to.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I see myself in 6 months.
How big do you think your architecture firm how big would you like to take it? Not a trick question, and I don't even care what the answer is, right? Like, I'm not pushing you, but I'm asking how big revenue-wise or people-wise would you in your dream world would it be?
Yeah, it's funny because I know we've talked about what the business can look like in the future, and it's so funny because I never thought I'd be here. So I don't even know. Like I know that in 6 months that I definitely I can see happening. But in like 3, 4 years from now, I think maybe the only thing I can imagine is maybe like I got myself a location, and maybe having like 3 or 4 active employees, having the phones ringing on the office, like, that's kind of where I could see in the future. I'd love to invest in my own town to, like, have the business here, and that's my goal. So, hopefully, if I can find a location like that, that makes sense. And then, I mean, and given the profit where it is and where how the business is growing, the money's gonna be
Mhm.
there.
Yeah, the money is gonna
So,
be there.
I just have to make a decision. It's like in our call, the other day where you said, like, you look at your profit and then you say, "What can I do with this 5% or 10%? Maybe I wanna put it
Mhm.
somewhere else." And that's something that I really, really am excited about.
Yeah, me too. I'm so excited to see that. I know that over the next year, it's gonna be a big change for you,
Yeah.
in a good way, in a great way.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, any final remarks? Anything else that you want to tell listeners here that are business owning architects? Anything else?
I wanna say this to anyone that is solo, that is doing it all. I know how hard you're working, and I know how tough it can be to do everything that you're doing right now. Um, and realize that you don't have to do it alone anymore. You do want to have, I highly recommend hiring Morgan, um, the healthy architect, because you're just going to better yourself, but you're also going to better your business. Like everything overall, I never thought I'd be where I am right now. And so I highly recommend for a solo architect, take a step back and realize you can't be in this path alone all the time. You need to make some steps for yourself to better your future. And part of that is going to be bettering your business, but bettering you.
Yeah, mic drop there. I'm not even gonna end this because that was so good, but also, I do wanna say I'm gonna pitch in here and say how proud I am of you, Javier. I mean, we've been together 3 months only. That is a snapshot in your life and in your business, and you really have came on board with coaching, and you might not know this and you might not see this, but you're fearless and you're relentless and you like to be challenged, but you're also going to follow through with the things that I challenge you with. You're open-minded, you're coachable, and that's exactly why you've had these massive leaps. You're not scared, or maybe you are scared, but you still take action through that fear. So I appreciate that, and I want you to just reflect on how far you've come and be really proud of that too.
Thank you. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for that.
You're welcome. Okay. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will speak soon.
Take care.
Bye. Architects, this podcast is the culmination of the most creative minds in the world. The planning and programming of this content is extensive, and I'm proud to be a small part of the change that's happening in our profession. If you want to be a part of this change, the very best thank you can give the Healthy Architect is giving us a 5-star review and sharing this episode with a colleague. When you give us a 5-star review and you share this podcast, you are playing a role in changing our industry, one architect at a time. Be happy, be healthy, and take action towards a more fulfilling career. See you next week on the Healthy Architect Podcast.